Hello, and it's Devil's Advocate. We're back on the discussion of
We're
our
back.
on
We're back,
homelessness,
baby.
you know,
Yes. Yes.
and we were talking about just before we ended the first part of people scamming so many billions and saying that they're rich and they're famous and all living the life of Riley with views like this in their life. I think,
Yeah.
can you imagine? I mean, just the mortgage or the rent on a normal home is extensive. And if your job is unreliable or you're relying on faking it till you make it
Yeah.
kind of thing, you got to wonder how much mental stress this puts people under with that kind of expense.
Well, absolutely. Well, that's it as well. And we were just sort of saying, yeah, how does this affect our mental health and the pressure?
Well, you go from this kind of life. Now, a bunch of these people are all going straight to jail, so they have it.
Oh,
But at least
yeah.
they're going to get a roof over their head and 3 square meals in a day, you know,
Which is more than some people
which
have
is
in those
more than
poor
what some
tents.
exactly, exactly. And
Sometimes they get the life in there. They get TVs and everything. They're
well,
kicking it
yeah,
for, yeah.
well, no, you know why they've got TVs and stuff? Because that's the only thing they've got left over from being kicked out of something like that because they couldn't the job that they had wasn't reliable or had no longevity.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
got fired for being a dumbass and defrauding the company for some reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
Stealing from the company. There's so many dodgy people in the world, so many scammers.
and
Yeah.
they say, "Oh, this is our lifestyle. This is the way you must live. Have your own yoga tent in the park instead of one of those tents."
Yeah, no.
I
No.
mean,
Come on though, yoga tents. You can do yoga at home. Why do you have to like
why do you have to?
billions into these
Why does everybody
tents?
have to be so? What was the word I used the other day? I'm running out.
Oh gosh,
Pretentious. That's what the
pretentious. Yeah,
pretentious.
yeah.
Why does everybody have to
Wow.
behave so pretentiously? Why does everybody
Exactly.
want to visualize or have all of these things that they only have to clean? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
ridiculous.
It boggles my mind though. Like, how much do you think somebody's invested in having a yoga tent made in the park? You can do that at home. All
Well,
it does
I
is
don't
take a
know. They're
YouTube
probably
channel.
renting them out at $100 a freaking hour.
Isn't that insane? That's absolutely mental. Think of how much you could spend instead of on that. Like groceries, internet, phone, rent,
Exactly.
you know.
And then we're saying, oh no, we don't have enough money for these poor people to have just a random little tiny what oh yes, that's gonna help much. Freeze frame, don't pick your nose. Devil's advocate says.
Yeah, there you go. But
The
you know,
pause was really bad there for a moment.
isn't that awful though that they're investing in these yoga tents when they could be investing in like meals for the homeless, like just a
Exactly.
delivery
Yeah,
van
not just
going
packing,
out. Yeah,
getting the cops to go and chase them out of whatever tent village they're living in around the city.
yeah.
And saying, oh, they have to because it's a danger to the city.
How
Was
is
the
it
danger?
dangerous to the
It's a danger
city?
to the
Yeah,
lady under her yoga tent doing
yeah,
yoga.
exactly. I'm sorry, I don't buy into that lifestyle at all. Like, you know, take the money, go to these tents, make sure they've got food, even give them like a small little cooker, something, help
But
them.
here's the thing. The thing in BC was the other day. They were chasing them. There was this little tent village of probably about 80 or 100 tents over a 2 block, 3 block area. And they're not that big. So they've got a 2 block area. There's these tents. And they were saying, this is a danger to the people. And you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, you probably do have a few drug addicts out there trying to steal money and
Sorry.
stuff like that. You probably do have some drug addicts out there. But,
Yeah.
they're pushing them off. The cops aren't doing this nicely.
No, no.
They're not saying to them, okay, fine, we've got this empty building down the road. If we give it a good clear out, you
Mm-hmm.
people could have a nice, safe place to stay. I mean,
Warmth.
it's an empty, old, unused police station, for God's sake.
Why not?
How
Why not,
secure
eh?
why not fix that up instead of putting up a condo? Because, oh, we're going to get so many more millions for the city if we have a condo. You'll have a lot less homeless people and a lot more millions in your back pocket if you house these people. And there's countries
Yeah,
around the world and cities around the world that have found solutions that aren't spikes on benches.
yeah, yeah. And you know, there's so many deserted buildings that they could
Exactly.
be investing in. Like, there's so many houses that have just been deserted.
and she's frozen. And on the deserted homes, we can turn around and say we have a few of them here, to the point that they're selling a bunch of them.
Livable, and that it's a good, safe habit, and get some people in there. Like, put
Well,
it to good use.
in
Instead of just
Kensington
tearing it down.
Market,
Yeah.
they've got a block of really old homes that,
Yeah.
you know, you could fix them up, you could make them into anything. It's going for 24
Exactly.
million. And there's a Toronto community housing group that are trying to buy
Yeah.
up properties like that, so they can give them back to the community for community use, like housing and shelters and yada yada. But you
Yeah.
know, they're fighting off then the realtors and the property developers, who are then going to come and say, "Oh, but we'll pay 50 million for it." And because the city needs some short-term money, the city will just take the frickin' money. And right now, I don't even know who our mayor is.
Exactly. Like, they switch them around all the time. I don't know who's in charge and who's not in charge, and who's
Well,
running.
it was
You know.
Tory, of course, but he decided that he was going to be a bit of a bad boy. So we've got the deputy in, and we've got a blister mile long of people that are going to be applying for the mayoral job. And all I can say is I hope that they can.
She's sorry, you froze, my dear. I didn't
No.
quite catch what you said.
Sorry, my bad. We freeze.
No. Yeah, we freeze here.
The point is you're letting people live like that, kicking them off the street. You're saying that this looks better. Yes, it does look better, but it's not helping these people.
That's
It's
what
only
I
helping the
mean.
people who can afford to live in these places.
It's all about aesthetic, or even better yet, kick out the yoga people and get the homeless people in there.
Well, you know, you could, as I said, they probably knocked down a bunch of houses, paid 50 million for the damn property, now charging $100 an hour to rent these damn things out. They can't charge these guys $100 an hour.
No, they can't. No, well, that's it. They're like, where can we make our money, and where can we make it quick?
And
it's all about them.
You know, and they're constantly saying, "Oh, it's the woke and the socialist." Yeah, you know, if I have to be insulted by somebody as woke because I give a shit about, and unfortunately, I don't have enough money. All we can do as people and citizens of the country, even if it is only permanent residents in some cases, is be a voice for the voiceless.
Sorry, you froze again, my love. I didn't catch that.
No. Be a voice for the voiceless. I said, you know, we don't have a lot of money. Granted, we've managed to get a home, but what people who own homes anywhere tend to be cash poor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're sort of like paying so much money on mortgages and bills and rent and bills. Cash is like, oh, live on a credit card.
It's next to nothing.
Credit card debt is through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying ours personally is through the roof, but there's other people who are sitting there with hundreds of thousands just on their credit cards.
Well, that's the thing. And when you look into home buying or rent buying, they check everything, your credit score, your credit report. And it's like they don't realize that the problem is everything's become so expensive.
And here's
it is so difficult to live a normal life.
Here's the other thing. The more debt you have, the better your credit rating.
So I don't understand that.
Oh, no, exactly. They're going, oh, well, you've got all these credit cards and you're balancing all this, that, and the next thing, and you're paying them off and yada, yada. Great, you're managing to pay them off this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how long is that going to last when they turn around and say, oh, your company's actually built on fraud and scams, so there's no money for you to have a job in the first place, so bye-bye you. There goes your lifestyle straight down the tubes from voila to
I know.
voila.
I wish
Exactly.
Voila. I wish homeowners and landlords were a little bit more understanding these days, but they're not. They're just like, no, I want money. And they don't care. They don't care about living situations. They don't care about homelessness or that we're all struggling. Some of us can't even put food on the table. You know, I heard a mother who was eating her daughter's leftover lunch because that was her priority. She's like, I need to make my kids lunch. I can't afford to feed myself right now. I have to make sure my children are fed and that I get them to school. And she's eating leftovers from their lunches. Like, how sad is that? Like, this is the reality of what people are going through. They can't even afford to feed themselves. They have to have select members of the family. Well, okay, my daughter, I need to feed her. Oh, okay, I've got 2 sons. I have to feed them. They can't even afford to feed themselves or feed it, like their husbands or their
Between the mental health and the hunger and not having a roof over your head. Yes, the scammer's now going to spend 30 jails in jail for not paying their taxes or defrauding a bunch of rich people out of a lot of money.
Yep.
They're still going to get a roof over their head and 3 square meals. Boom. Zip, zap, double tap.
Isn't that
all
like
their freaking
ironic?
scams. They should be made to live like this.
They should be.
They
I
should be made
know.
to live like this.
They're
Teach you
absolutely
little shits a
everywhere.
lesson.
Absolutely everywhere. Well, I told you about my Facebook thing. I won't get into too much detail because we're not talking about that. But
In fact, we have to
everywhere.
stop here at that
Yes, there
point.
you go.
And I do have one for the next time. It's all about the scams.
There you go, honey.
So we're
until
going
next
to say
time,
yes, exactly. Until next time, please do like and subscribe. We are
please like and subscribe.
Devil's
The Devil's
Advocate.
Advocate.
I am Tracy.
And I'm Alana.
Sherry, bye.
We'll catch you next time.